Hey, everybody. Am I really late? I didn't really plan on doing this, so, I can't be late. I've graced you with my presence tonight. So, while most kings demand you stand, I only request that you kneel. Anyways, how are you guys? It's Sunday, and and still late. Well, like I said, am I really late? Hmm. Oh, I need to link that real quick. Parallax, hold on. Good catch. Hope everybody's having a nice night so far. Why is this? Every once in a while, YouTube is frustrating. So frustrating, YouTube. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't believe go. Pin message. There we go. So we're having trouble streaming to Rumble. This can occur if the RTMP and you are stream. Rumble's trying to, Rumble. We'll put a stream key together for you, and it doesn't work. So good job, Rumble. Cutting edge technology there, boys. Yes, just like the Emperor Palpatine. Yes. Have I ever told you this? Well, have I ever told you the story of Darth Retrial? He used the Baldo to save his loved ones from even death. Let's see here. Who got first tonight? We'll just skip to the chase. Ashley Casey got first. Nice. Phil Swift. Oh, this is the danger thing here. Yes. Stream notification at 9/11. Shut it down. Shut it down, guys. And Gazi Stonemate says the audio is good. That's good to know because I wasn't. Every time seems like something happens. Unhung Hero for $2 says, "Oh, I'm gonna come. Don't come. Don't come. It's a little cold out there if you come. Like you don't want it to you start coming and it just freezes. It's like an ice cube on the end. Like don't want to break that off." Yeah, I hope everybody's staying warm because this is like ridiculous right now out there. It is super freaking cold. I know that for a fact because I had to go outside today and I had to go drive to a jail and meet a client. And it was cold, every bit of 10 degrees on the way there. So, woo-wee. Woo-wee. Are we going to cover the Cyrax lawsuit? You know what? I might look at that tonight, just briefly. Just briefly. And the Billy Mitchell settlement. I haven't seen the actual settlement. I've seen allusions to it, but I haven't actually seen the full text of it yet. Apparently, attorneys are like throwing themselves on swords. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Shippyco says, first again, yeah, congratulations. Congratulations. Sugoi Xiaomi says the printer going burr right now. Oh, well, my printer's not going burr right now. My printer's taking a break, but I will say, guys, having a 3D printer, it's like having magic. And it just I've made so much crap on it. And it's like these spools are just like made out of forever. They just keep going and going and going. The printer goes burr and the spool just goes around and around and around and around. You're like, what the hell? It's so cool. It is so cool. The Rumble SEC investigation could get spicy. Oh, I think it's that's I don't know. And that's why there's I remember the one time I looked on Rumble and it said I had 93,000 views on a video. And I'm like, there ain't no way in hell I am not that like when that happened, I wanted to laugh. Like, I know you guys are full of shit. Like it doesn't work. I know that something's wrong if you gave me that many. So So, where are you guys looking? No, Jim, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of that. Let's go. Brandon says he's first, and that's if you self-identify. I mean, it's who am I to tell you you're wrong? At least you're authoritative about it. There's no guessing from Brandon. He just says, I'm going to be first. So, Whiskey 77 says they're under a falling iguana alert in Florida. And that's true. The iguanas get too cold, they fall out of trees. I have not seen it, but I've been told it happens. Let's go. Brandon says, let's just get this out of the way. You have 3D printed a Sean dildo already. I mean, I'd have to model it, and that seems like a lot of work. I don't know if there's enough bandwidth to use one of those modeling programs. But thank you, Brandon, for $4.99. Thank you very much. Parallax has sent you the Cyrax stuff. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that then. Shipico says, I love how he started Twitch and then forgot us. Well, I haven't forgotten you guys. I want to say hello to everybody out there in, on Twitter. I would say Rumble, but apparently Rumble's not working tonight. Twitch and YouTube. We're not doing locals tonight. Just didn't have time to set it up. They say really can't print that small. It's all a matter of perspective. So, all right, guys, there's a couple things I want to talk about. We'll get these out. We're not ready to get them out of the way. We're going to talk about them. Then we'll touch on, Cyrax. I think that'll be a funny one to talk about, but wanted to get going on these. Two of them, I didn't have a chance to get into these too much before during the week. I was going to give people a couple more minutes to get in here before we get going. Brandon says, I let my dog gamble for me, and he picked the Rams twice. Well, better than picking the Browns or the Cowboys. I hope somebody's checked in on Joe because, oh boy, the Browns acted like the Browns. So that is I think that's something to take note of. So if you guys are not aware of these two cases, just briefly, that I was going to talk about mainly. Michelle Troconis, she's accused of helping her at the time her boyfriend murder his estranged wife. They were going through a divorce, and she supposedly helped in covering up the murder, cleaning up, the blood, and helping hide body parts that got chopped up. And then Erika Stefanko, this one, she helped kill her. She helped kill her husband's baby mama, and then helped hide the body and clean up and cover up. So hers is a little different, though. She already got convicted once, but she got a retrial because of COVID-related issues, and that he wasn't present during the trial. So she gets a new trial. They claim that testifying on Zoom doesn't cut it. We'll talk about that one. That one's going to be interesting. It's kind of like a coin flip. I might do the the Michelle Troconis one. We'll probably be watching that starting on probably Tuesday night. Start watching it and catch up to it. And then after that, at some point, we'll probably do the Erika Stefanko one. So I think that one's going to be pretty interesting. Although that one's, she already got convicted once, so I don't think it's necessarily going to change the outcome. Carrie says for $1.99, did you get my thing on the thing? Not sure. Did you get, if it's not a thing you sent me, I didn't get it then. You wonder how many tunnels Joe has dug? Well, remember, they didn't dig the tunnels over in the over at the synagogue. They hired migrants to dig. So even better. Even better. Brimstone saying no locals chat. No, not tonight. Not tonight. And Jim, yes, I've heard that the whole Texas Mall thing, that was never there's some accusations of it. And somebody finally got arrested was one of the issues. They hadn't done anything yet on it. And I noticed that didn't happen till late on Friday. So it was we'll touch on that because that one is weird, and I'm hoping more will come out by the time we get to Thursday. The pro litigant in Florida murder trial isn't going so hot. Ooh, send me something there. I'm kind of curious. I'm curious about that one. Winter Soldier says Joe does not do the work. He makes his wife dig. Oh. Yes. Yes, children yearn for the mines, yes. Did I see the Godwinson drops about Ralph? Yes, the sector is still, the sector is always in a state of implosion. It's like a never-ending Tower 7, just always imploding. In ways you don't always expect. So, you guys really want a locals chat? I'll put one together. Fine. It's like watching a Postman when the guy's trying to make a movie and they don't want to watch the sound of music and they all start throwing rocks at him. He's like, "All right, you babies." I'll start locals chat. 14-ish. By popular demand. And then we'll get into these things and then we'll go from there. Okay. Enable live chat. There you go, guys. There's a live chat for you. The Craigslist stream just went down. Well, that's normal. That's normal. So the AOL chat isn't working either. So yes, thank you, future Mrs. Mark 2.0. Thank you for yes. Your AOL chat's down. I think you're just gonna have to we're gonna have to go to ICQ for that one, Eric. There's always the ICQ chat room. That's always a go-to. That's always like the fallback. Wonderful Galaxy, would I join Fish Tank? No. But I have tried to reach out to Sam Hyde because I'd love to get a copy of that. I know what he's going to say, like it's NDA'd, but I would just love to read a copy of that contract just to see what there is going on. That would be great. The ADL chat is bumping. That would be. Wait, hey, I'm sure it's the ADL chat is just shut it down. All right, so here we go, guys. All right, we're gonna get going on these. So Michelle Troconis, the story, and I watched. Well, I will say from my lovely producer that I share relations with. Brought up the whole case of Michelle Troconis. I know it's been mentioned once or twice, and I hadn't been very big on, well, what does this matter? Is it really important? Actually, yes, this seems to be a very interesting trial. So, this is kind of the rough idea of what's going on with this, and I think this helps us fill things in here. So it's Michelle Troconis, not Troon Cois or anything like that. Michelle is a woman. But I do think it's helpful because it does kind of fill us in on what's going on. I do love this, though, that there's a disclaimer. The article contains mentions of blood and murder. Not, oh my gosh, there's pictures of blood and murder. But We're gonna talk about blood and murder. Trigger warning. Like I saw this, and that was part of me wanting to read this article. It's just so damn funny. Okay, so it goes back to a actually I wonder if I can get pictures of so yeah. This woman right here is Michelle Troconis. Okay. Next to her is Jennifer Dulos. And she is no longer well, for a very long time, she was never found, and just recently they declared her dead. So Michelle was the boyfriend, or I'm sorry, wow, yes, in 2023 she could be the boyfriend of this guy. Um, she was the mistress of Jennifer Dulos's husband. As the Jennifer and her husband were getting a divorce, they had a very contested um, pre-divorce situation. In fact, the husband in the situation, a guy named Fotis Doulos, he's a guy from Turkey, had Norm Pattis as attorney. Yes, Alex Jones is Norm Pattis. It was very interesting seeing that when I was watching the special earlier today. It's like I know that guy. Anyway, they after a while, back in 2019, Jennifer disappeared. She's never been found at all. So her husband was charged at multiple stages with different crimes. After a while, they did search the Jennifer's car. It was found in a park. They found blood in it, and then eventually they found um, blood in the truck of one of the husband's employees. And he had his seat switched out, and they found Jennifer's blood all over it. And he was charged in her disappearance and with tampering with evidence and a couple of other things. Well, a couple years ago, he committed suicide. So now Michelle's the only one left. And she's going to trial. Her Jennifer's body's never been found, and that's because they did watch traffic cameras up in Connecticut where this happened, and they made stops to garbage cans and dumpsters all over the area. And yeah, guess what? It's all gone. She's in a landfill somewhere at this point. But she was never declared dead until just now. So he, the husband faced capital murder charges in 2020. He attempted to commit suicide and died after that at a hospital. So Michelle's the only one left, and she's facing conspiracy to commit murder. In Connecticut, there is no death penalty or anything like that, so she's basically just facing life. Basically, what they think happened is Jennifer dropped her kids off at school, and she went back home, and there the husband and his mistress attacked her and killed her. And they chopped her up and put her in garbage cans and wiped it all down and left. And the only reason why they know that is on the floor there were marks of blood when they luminoled it and did all their stuff. I almost said Rohypnol. It's like they roofied the blood. And last October, she was officially declared dead. And that's partially important because now they can say that she's dead. So someone had to have killed her. She's on trial. Michelle's on trial, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. There are 2 days in, and we're going to start watching on Tuesday. We'll start day 1 on Tuesday and catch up from there. Remember tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day for the great Dr. King. So there's going to be courts aren't open generally. So we'll skip ahead from there. So she's got a bunch of issues that even if she doesn't get convicted of the murder, she's going to be guilty of the tampering with evidence and hindering prosecution. So she's got, even if she beats the murder, she's probably going to get jammed up on these. And yeah, it's not going to help her at all, I think, at the end of the day, because she really is in a bad situation there. And there's a lot of evidence she tampered with evidence, which, they are allowed to use that as an inference of guilt, that only guilty people tamper with crime scenes. Now, that's not always true. Stupid people frequently do. And either way, telling a jury, like, look, my client's not evil, she's just a moron, isn't a good sale. So we will see how this turns out. There is a lot of blood-related evidence that is found in blood that was tested to be hers. So, Yeah, they found blood droplets on one of the vehicles on the garage floor at her house. They also found a bloody footprint, and it was all smeared up. So they they initially thought it was a deer strike, but after a while, they didn't find any damage to the car. They didn't find any hairs, and they also determined, well, it was people blood, and that amount of blood means that person didn't survive. So yeah, they're no longer with us. So it will be very interesting. I did forget to mention they did find clothing, zip ties, and all kinds of crap in bags they found near where they dumped all the garbage at, and they found Jennifer's DNA in those bags, which I'm sure she wasn't just like putting the bag on her head and then walking away and just leaving DNA everywhere. So it will be very interesting to do that. The other thing that the other thing is Michelle really kind of snitched out her boyfriend, her paramour, her boo. She didn't know what was in the bags, but she helped him throw them away. And she also helped him do what was like they rehearsed an alibi. So I don't understand why she's going to trial at this point. I get it. You have the right to trial, and they still have to prove it. The prosecutors still have to prove murder. But when you're like, yeah, I helped pick up these bags full of blood and blood was dripping out of them. And I asked what this was about. And he said, don't worry about it. And I said, okay. And they said, hey, I need to make an alibi. You're like, cool. I love creative writing. Let's Mad Lib this. You're not doing a great job at convincing people, hey, I didn't know this was a murder. I'm actually just an innocent person. So she's got a lot of problems there, and it will be very, very, very funny to see what goes on from there. Uh, and that will be something we're going to start watching this week. Let's see. Alpha Fox is her paramour. Yeah, you got to use those. You got to use those fancy law school words when you read the old cases there. Holy cow. Well, first of all, Brandon, let's go. Brandon's a new member. Thank you, Brandon. I always appreciate your support. Appreciate anybody's support. Thank you so much. Those of you do. But Brandon, especially right now. Thank you, Brandon. And then Brandon, let's go for 20 memberships. Whoa! Yes. Whoa! Let's go, Felton, etc. Like, gonna make the whole PPP thing here. Thank you. I'm sure whoever gets one of those memberships is going to be very appreciative of it. So thank you so much for that. How many roofies did Dr. King prescribe? Not that kind of doctor. You guys. Happy Sunday from Florida. Well, thanks, Karen. Hope you're doing well. Currently watching Schmish. We'll catch the replay at work. Well, thanks, Richard. For $5. $5.05. Thank you. That's a oddly specific amount. But thank you. I'm not sure if there's a joke there. If it did, it completely went over my head. And like I said, always loved the Russian drum mag there. Always very fancy. Jim says Joe just tumbled into locals. Hold on here. Is he in there? Also, I did want to say, Shade Chaser, I saw you did leave a tip in locals, and I just want to say thank you very much for that tip. I appreciate it. And that's over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com, where they're all hanging out in the locals chat right now. So Alpha Fox says, future Mrs. Martin know about him. My producer. Yes. Yes, she does. Thank you. She knows all about my producer. Dewey says they don't really have juicy photos in this one. They don't even have a body. That's true. they have a lot of like bloody things like zip ties and bags of garbage with blood in it. Using the about to say using spray fentanyl. No, they don't use. They spray fentanyl and you can detect blood. They have the blood detection. They don't have like big smeary patches of blood they cleaned up or a body laying anywhere. So it's going to be a bit of a different case, but it's a very good one. Brandon says you have 3 emojis. You're better than that. Oh, thank you. So, Pepsi Man, we'll get to that in a minute. Young Lee Minx says, "What's up, Michelle Troconis? I can't believe no one is LawTube watching this trial." Well, we're gonna start on Tuesday night. The only reason why I say starting on Tuesdays because, well, tomorrow's MLK Day, but also we have the local stream at 8 and got some other things I'll be working on, so we won't have time to start that. But we will be starting it Tuesday afternoon and going from there every afternoon to catch up. Probably the only time we'll have to stop is Thursday because we got the live show Thursday. Remember when you shotgun the White Claw and nearly puked on myself? I did not puke on myself, but I almost spilled it all over me. There's a lot of carbonation, though. And Goalie says, "Don't forget you promised to Hannah Gutierrez interrogation video. You said someday, and I'll hold you to it." Sure. Part of the issue with that, guys, getting to that real quick, that and Sarah Boone. If I do it right now and Sarah Boone doesn't go to trial for 7 months, we're going to forget about it. You guys are really going to forget about what happened. Same thing with Hannah Reed in the Alec Baldwin manslaughter case. Once we know it's going to go and we know there's a trial date, it helps at that point. Like, we're going to do trial prep. We got to do it then. You're doing trial prep now. We don't have a trial date. You kind of forget everything. So, yes, I've got those. Don't worry, I've got them. We're ready to do them. We need the time. The time will be right. And we'll do it. So, Whiskey says, "I hear a lot of excuses." Well, I'm just telling you. Hannah Reed is scheduled for next month at the moment. Yeah, but I don't know if that's going to happen from what I can tell. Just like Sarah Boone, I don't think Sarah Boone's going to happen this month either. So, I don't think that's going to happen like that. So, and then the other one I wanted to get to, and this one we'll be doing because this one's going to be a little more kind of it's going to be more fait accompli as far as what happened there. I just think it's interesting that this was a retrial and it was a COVID related retrial. So Erika Stefanko is accused of helping her husband murder his baby mama. And the issue was that he had a baby with another woman, and there was a custody battle ongoing, and it looked like he wasn't going to win it. So the baby mom had a side job delivering pizzas. They had her deliver a pizza. They ordered pizza to like a business that was closed that night, and they ambushed her and they took her away and killed her. Well, the husband, they figured it out pretty quick. They tried them both. The husband pled guilty and he got convicted, got life in prison back in 2013. Erika went to trial in 2019. In 2019 and then into 2020, she started her trial, and guess what happened? COVID happened. Well, at that point, there were all kinds of crazy rules and stupid things going on. Everybody's wearing a mask in a courtroom. There are some courtrooms where the judges were saying, it's okay, you can keep wearing your mask if you're a juror, if you're a witness testifying. Other courts were trying to figure out ways to accommodate it. Some courts just said, like, no trials, period. Well, some courts can't get away with that. Like, some courts have enough stuff going on, they have to try cases. In this case, they tried Erika's case. And because of COVID, her husband, who was doing life in prison, well, he testified from prison via Zoom. Her attorneys objected. They thought that was improper, that it's not a true ability to confront your witness. And there wasn't proper, the court hadn't done enough to determine that there were no other means available. So she got convicted. They appealed that. And the Court of Appeals here in Ohio said, yes, that wasn't correct. There needs to be a retrial. We don't, in a case like that, having the critical witness, the witness who says like 100%, I can tie these people to it. You can't just do that. You have to have that person there. You have to have the right to confront them. You have to be able to do it in a room, face to face. It's so much different. I've done things on Zoom, and if you guys have ever been in meetings on Zoom, whereby Skype, whatever, it's not the same. There is a big difference, and in this situation, it's no different. In fact, I would argue it's even more critical that you know what's going on. That person's there. You can deal with them. And I mean, especially like I said, it's a murder trial. Short of that, it's short of a death penalty case. This is about as serious as it gets. So she's getting retried. The case has just gotten started, and they're going to be picking it up. We'll pick up this one, Erika Stefanko, after the Michelle Troconis one. And that's just because Erika has been convicted already. The jury already convicted her once. I don't think it's going to change having her husband testify in person. So I'm still kind of waffling between whether we do that one or we'll do the treehouse murder. That one's going to be, I need to look into that one a little bit more. That might take over for Erika Stefanko. I'm kind of 50-50 on that one. So, and this is the case here. Jury selection began on Tuesday and it went like 2 days. And this is there's not a whole lot to it yet. So, we might skip that one just because it's already happened. It's not as though the husband testifying is going to change anything, but I thought it was very interesting, that he went to trial so late afterwards. What are you guys looking at? Luke says Sarah Boone already moved to continue, and I'm sure she did. I just know we talked about it on Thursday. It hadn't been official yet, but it's going to have to, because they are asking for an expert witness. So that we already knew that was kind of going to happen. Dewey says Sarah Boone will be in court the 16th. Yep, and that's when we'll find out. But as I said, if they want an expert witness now, it's going to take forever, because that expert witness has to do their discovery and do their homework, do their work. Then they have to give it to the state, and the state gets to talk to their expert. So we're looking at a couple of months, not anything happening anytime soon with her. So. See, what are you guys talking about here? Hold on. Luke says the prosecution also objected. Are you talking about Sarah Boone's case? I haven't seen. Hold on. Let's we'll get to that, and then we'll talk about Cyrex. Cyrex, the lawsuit's available to look at. And then Sarah Boone. First name Sarah, last name Boone. Okay. Yeah, motion for continuance. Okay, yeah, they already filed their motion. Oh, well, that wasn't available when I looked for it. So, and the prosecutor isn't objecting, so that helps. The prosecutor's not objecting to Sarah Boone getting continued, so they'll get a continuance. That's easy enough. They're just pointing out for Sarah Boone. So here, let's talk about it real quick. They need time to prepare for trial, and that's true. I mean, it's a new attorney too, as part of the issue. I mean, he probably has not gotten all the way through discovery. He's still reviewing extensive discovery. I mean, it takes time. He also needs an expert. The court approved costs for a private investigator. The task to be accomplished in trial cannot be concluded by the date. That also includes, though, the disclosure requirements. Remember, they wish to introduce certain types of evidence, the state has a right to know about it ahead of time. So she's already waived her right to speedy trial. And this is always critical, and you guys may not think about this, but it always helps when you file motions that you include the opposing party's answer. Because if you consult with, the opposing party and they're like, yeah, it's cool, I can put that in, and then, the court doesn't have to say, well, I need the prosecutor's answer. No, in this case, they've got it. Or if he knows they're opposing it, that saves time too. So, and actually, I'm surprised they don't have to include orders down in this jurisdiction, but here in Ohio, when you do it, you usually have to include the order for the judge to sign off on. So, yeah, Sarah Boone's definitely getting continued. Let's see here. Oh, switch. Okay. All right. Actually, hold on here. Where is... I lost the one I had. Sorry, guys. Well, we're actually not going to get to... We're going to skip actually back to something instead. Chad Daybell. If you guys remember Lori Vallow Daybell or Daybell Vallow, that whole thing. If you guys remember them. She ended up murdering her children along with her new husband. He's been in... she's already been convicted and she's gone away. Chad Daybell's attorney, though, is asking to withdraw. And that is... a bit of an issue here because they're going to trial in April, and we're now... I mean, we're 90 days out. We're less than 90 days out. Normally that's not too big of a deal, but it does become an issue. Now, this is a very, we do have the motion to look at here, and I think it's... So, this is the motion to withdraw. And yeah, it starts off that, and this is where you're not arguing on behalf as your representation of the defendant. You come in as the undersigned counsel. So that's why he starts off with this. Undersigned counsel hereby moves to withdraw as counsel from this case. Since May 25th, 2021, counsel has represented Mr. Daybell in this case and the related previous case, because before it was a murder. In that time, he has done everything. He has undertaken as sole counsel all matters of representation. Chad Daybell personally retained, which is not usually common in these situations. At a hearing on January 19th of last year, so about a year ago, Daybell was inquired of and declared indigent. Mr. Daybell does not have the ability to pay for counsel's continued services, and Daybell seeks the appointment of 2 capital qualified attorneys to represent him. And Chad Daybell is facing the death penalty. This attorney here, John Pryor, has tried to... this is so weird when they make attorneys do that. That's... how do you do that at the end? Sorry. That just really... It's so weird to me when I see that. Like, out west, you guys are weird. Out here, you put that crap at the bottom at the end. So they tried to get the death penalty dismissed, and they haven't. They've failed. And at this point, yeah, Chad Daybell, there's a couple problems here. According to his counsel, well, there's a problem with one of the expert witnesses, known as Mr. Green. Or there's a judge around here. I've heard the stories of it. When you're an attorney and you had an issue with, like, well, Your Honor, the client is trying to retain me, but we haven't gotten anywhere yet, and the case has just started. He'd say, he says, that's a rule number 1 problem. And the judge, this is when he would be speaking with the attorneys before they brought in the parties. He'd say, it sounds like you're having a rule number 1 problem. Rule number 1 compliance is very critical. And the first rule as an attorney is get paid. So there's a problem. He doesn't have any more money. And also, if he's indigent, he can't represent himself, or he can't afford an attorney anymore. And there's an issue of, is this attorney qualified anymore? Yeah, that changes things. And he points out that, this case is complex, and the prosecution seeking the death penalty, which requires, the preparation for 2 trials. Yeah, you have the penalty phase and the guilt phase. Reflecting this complexity and the work required, this court has set aside 2 months for a trial, and the prosecutor has no less than 5 attorneys. And those are the attorneys that are involved. Those attorneys also have guys in offices. They have paralegals. They're going to have interns. They're going to have people ready to go. This guy representing Daybell is a one-man band. It's attorneys from 2 offices, including an out-of-state attorney hired at taxpayer expense. It's very much like Mr. Burns. He's like, you could face my team of 5 attorneys. Remaining on this case would require the undersigned counsel to work around the clock, more than full time for more than 4 months, without compensation and without the assistance of any other counsel. Because the way court appointed work stuff is, and he hasn't essentially been designated as court appointed, like it says court appointed. So I'm assuming it's at that point, it becomes an issue of you don't get paid until afterwards. So yeah, this guy's floating a lot of money up front. And if he's working on this full time, he's not making money on his other clients. So that's a bit of an issue. This motion's made with Chad Daybell's full consent. And to be fair, Chad Daybell has asked that he be given 2 qualified capital attorneys. And the way it works is if you are indigent and you're into capital murder case, you are giving capital certified, death penalty certified attorneys. If you retain, you can retain whoever you want. But court appointed cases, they make sure at a minimum these attorneys have taken classes, and they're generally, like in Ohio, the Supreme Court of Ohio hosts them, and you get CLEs for them. Not anybody can take these classes. You have to have a minimum of 10 years of practicing experience. And then from there, they have a rigorous standard of you're like so many trials to even be a 3rd chair, so much to be a 2nd chair, then so many to be finally a 1st chair. And that's meant to make sure that people are given the best defense possible. So he's made a diligent effort to find a lawyer to assist for a significant amount of time. They did find an attorney, but he hasn't been approved by the Public Defender Commission. The other problem is it's the state of Idaho. It's a very small state. So there's not going to be a lot of attorneys. And even in a place like Ohio, if you are not inside the, like if you're not inside Cleveland or Columbus and you're out in the boondocks, there might not be a capital certified attorney within a couple of counties that can handle a case like that. That's not an uncommon thing that they have to bring in somebody from the public defender's office out of Columbus to represent them, or they have to go to like the city, an hour away and say, hey, you're a capital certified attorney. Will you come do it? That's not uncommon at all. And they point out because he's facing the death penalty, he's been indigent, he's entitled to 2 attorneys who are qualified. The public defender has a roster of attorneys who can do it. That doesn't mean they're forced into it. You aren't like conscripted. They would contact you and say, can you do this? And if you're busy with other stuff, because these attorneys have private practices, they might say, sorry, I'm not available. You can't be conscripted into doing it. And they point out that while he could accept appointment if it's non-capital, because it is a capital case, he can't be appointed due to statute. And ultimately, that means it's very likely he wouldn't get paid. Number 2, there's an ethical issue that if the state law says certain conditions must be met and you're still representing someone who hasn't, and you don't meet those conditions, there's an issue of competency, and you only do things you're competent in. If you're not competent in an area, you shouldn't take a case. Well, if he's not competently trained to do a death penalty case and he's admitting to it, he shouldn't do it. So that is what's going on with Chad Daybell and his attorney there. So maybe we'll find out more by Thursday, but that's where things stand for him. So. Job well done says if you go to court by Zoom, you don't have to wear pants. I've been in many a hearing where I've been in a shirt and tie and wearing shorts, so that's not uncommon. Oh, Brandon, let's go. Brandon saying Baker's doing the treehouse murder. Not a whole lot to that one except for crack. It's like Hunter's Playground in there. Well, hey, crack can be interesting. It can always be interesting. Why do I am so fucking focus. Come on. Come on. Looks like I'm out of focus. What the fuck? Okay. Oh, hold on here. What? Yeah, we'll see if that helps. Oh. So the Real Hydro PX for $5. We'll get to that one in a minute. Well, actually, hold on. I'm gonna address that now, right now. Real Hydro PX for $5. Kublot, have you seen Mandy's nice tats? Mandy, if I wasn't married, I'd divorce my wife for you. Drex is not a groomer. There, I got it out of the way. I'm a goofy goober, yeah. Says Idaho isn't a small state. In population size, it is. It is large and is the most important state in the country. You're like the Ukrainian playing Risk at Seinfeld. Ukraine is strong. Yes. Don't worry. You are the big man. Idaho is biggest state. Biggest and baddest state. So Ralph says here for the Cyrax. We'll get to Cyrax in a second. Oh. Pepsi Man, I was going to bring this up now. Did you see PPP offer to stop A-logging Ricada if he released CRP's? That's the funny thing. It really is. Wilshire Boulevard is going to be CRP's memoir, given how he wrote himself into the story. And if he did that, that means that's his story. Yes, I did see that. And, that's an issue. That is an issue. Because Wilshire Boulevard, Coach Redpill has the copyright to it now as the state does. So what happens? Would his family know that it got released? I mean, it would be interesting to read it, but I mean, not that much. I'm not that stoked about it. I'm just stoked about what Coach Redpill's death is going to do for. Imagine Coach Redpill's death is the reason why the U.S. quits funding Ukraine. Like, he's truly got the last laugh at that point. So, all right. So that and I'm going to take a look. Okay. So, Cyrax, our boy. I'm trying to look for this because I have not. This is Wilkins Gord. Okay, because Parallax, you sent this to me. I'm trying to see if this has even been filed yet, because it looks like he's got a caption and everything on it, but there's nothing here yet online. And I'm looking in the common plea, the clerk of courts for that county where they live in Akron. Yeah, so Cyrax has been sued. It's like 12 pages if you read the okay. Hold on, Luke's saying you should read the Delphi docs. Oh, the Delphi docs are going to get read. We're going to do that. I'm going to do that as a special thing, Luke. We're going to do that. I'm actually going to record something for that tomorrow. Basically, the state of Indiana is killing Richard Allen, and it's a really, really creepy thing what they're doing. It's very disgusting. So, guys, if you guys don't remember Cyrax, we covered him a little while ago, over the summer. Cyrax is a internet personality out of Akron, Ohio, just to the south of me. And oh my god, he's too close. Too close, man. Cyrax, oh my god. Cyrax is just a oh. Anyways, here's a picture of Cyrax. I'll bring him up from when I did my we'll bring him up from when I talk about his arrest. I know that was horrible to watch. So if you guys are not familiar with Cyrax, here is this beautiful, beautiful human being we call a man. An Adonis. Carved out of granite like Zeus himself. This is Cyrax. And this is actually a very flattering picture of him. Cyrax is he's basically a walking disaster of internet hilarity. He is, I mean, he looks okay in that picture, but if you watch him and listen to him, you could tell he didn't win the genetic lottery, or his family didn't set him up to win the genetic lottery. He's the face of the fentanyl epidemic. He's the face of a lot of things. He grew up under power lines. Oh, and all the women are like, ooh la la, yeah. He grew up under power lines. Yeah, this is definitely. So he is. The internet terrorizes him, but he tries to terrorize the internet back. It's that's kind of it's the yin and yang thing. It's very much it's just like Full Metal Jacket. It's just some sort of sick joke. So he has done a lot of things in life, and he has caused a lot of problems to people, including his own family. And he's caused a lot of problems here. And there are a lawsuit's been filed. Now, people are saying it's out there. I don't know. Yes, he's the face of Ohio, yes. He should be on our state seal. So his family has filed a lawsuit, and just by reading this thing, there's all kinds of problems with it. I'm gonna try to so you guys can look along with me. So it starts off by this is all homebrewed. This is all homebrewed. This is not done by competent counsel. First of all, the caption, this thing up here at the top, the caption, this thing up here, this whole thing is just garbage. In the Circuit Court of the Common Pleas, Summit County, Akron, Ohio. That's not how you do this. That's not how you do this. It's in the Court of Common Pleas because we don't have circuit courts in Ohio. We have courts of common plea. And you do Summit County, but you don't do the city because technically that's not relevant. It's just whether or not the county court has jurisdiction to hear it. So it should just be in the Court of Common Pleas, Summit County, Ohio. And that would be fine. As far as the case number, I have not found anything yet. So I don't know if this has been filed. Or if it was filed, I was trying to check it, and I'll check it again. Here, let's, we'll share this tab real quick and go back one more step. So the Summit County Clerk of Courts, we're going to do civil cases. He's saying by civil case number. And what was the number he used? 24-343-4. Wow. Seems like they're just making it up. 24. And then he did 43-43-43. Okay. 43. That's 339 CA. Okay. 339 CA. Let's see if this turned out anything. It's not a valid case number. Yeah, that's... Yeah, this doesn't... I don't think this has been filed yet. Well, anyways, we'll get back to it. So this case number doesn't tell me anything because typically when you file a case, you don't write the case number in because you don't know what your case number is. That is something they generally write on a motion for you. This is your case number, the clerk does, because they're the ones filing stuff. And, you might be the first case of 2024, but you won't know until you get there and you file. So I don't know that or the division. I don't know how they would know what division they're going to already. Because number one, these are Cyrax's relatives, so I'm assuming they're not much smarter than him. I mean, hopefully they don't look like him. Well, I mean, I bet they do, considering how Cyrax looks, how he looks. So, you see Gordon Wilkins and Jenny Jo Wilkins, petitioners. They'd be the plaintiffs if this is a lawsuit. And Chance James Finley Wilkins, a.k.a. Chance J. Wilkins, Chance Wilkins Jr., Chance J. Wilkins Jr., Chance J.F. Wilkins Jr., and Chance J.F. Wilkins, and then Sally Lou Artson. And Sally is his mom. If you guys are familiar with the lore. This is a petition for civil action of slander and defamation of character. The action is a request for more than $15,000. Okay. Gordon R. Wilkins, being sworn, certifies the statements are true, that he lived in Florida for at least 6 months prior to filing this petition for civil action. Ohio doesn't care that you lived in Florida previously. That's not the issue. You need to show jurisdiction here in Ohio. This is a dumpster fire. Neither the respondent or the petitioner is not a member of the military service, and that's because there is a Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act, meaning if somebody's deployed, you can't sue them and say, "Ha, they're not here." If they are, there are processes and procedures that must be followed. Gordon Wilkins is honorably asking this court to review the claim of slander defamation in response to outrageous claims of pedophilia against the petitioner and co-petitioner. Yeah, that's not you. This is, if you're trying to sue him saying he's defamed you, you're missing a ton of stuff here. There's all kinds of shit is just missing. This is I mean, this is something else. This is so damn funny reading this. I mean, I'm just looking at this like I don't know how they come up with this. You're not laying out any factual things here. Like, who are you? Who is Chant? Who is Cyrax? Who are these people? What did they? Who are they? Who is your daddy, and what does he do? That's part of a complaint. That's how you do a complaint. But you have to say it, at all times. Relevant, like, what time frame are we covering this from? How does the state of Ohio have jurisdiction? How does Summit County, Ohio, have jurisdiction? You're not doing any of that, and I just kind of thought about it like that, doing the whole thing from Kindergarten Cop. But yeah, you do basically have to say, like, who is your daddy and what does he do? And they're not saying anything. Like, who are these people? What do they do? At all times relevant. What's based upon information and belief? I would argue you need to make a claim in excess of $25,000. And I think this guy kind of made up shit he saw in Florida. So this is going to be some tar jousting. I have the feeling of, so it's going to be fun for us to watch. But yeah, there's no laying of facts out at this point. We don't know anything about this case right now. The defendant is negligently placed. If he was negligent, it's not defamation. Defamation is the stating of things are false. If he negligently did it, it's not defamation. Is he negligent or intentional? Because defamation is an intentional tort. We don't have negligent defamation in Ohio. Placed allegations of pedophilia publicly on his Kik account registered to the defendant. What times, what places, when? This is where, like I said, who is your daddy and what does he do? You have to tell a story. And your complaint, paragraph 1, boom. Paragraph 2, boom, 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 boom. You have to lay out on December 3rd on the Kik, on his account. We know this account is registered to him because he appears on it. He says it's his. On this date, he said this. On this date, he said that. At this web address, web address, web address, web address. You have to. The public forum and video recorded voice clip on Facebook Messenger. Okay, what date, where, what, when? A public domain will be admitted to evidence during the discovery process. Okay, but right now, this is gobbledygook. Even what you're saying is true. You don't state a claim upon which relief can be granted. I mean, right now there's nothing here. This is just you're saying bad stuff happened. Okay. Both defendants' negligent actions. Once again, Gordon, you're swinging for the fences here to I don't know who's dumber, you or Cyrax. Negligent actions is detrimental and harmful to petitioner's reputation and generally society. What? And to generally society. What? You mean your views of how society sees you generally? I'm sure that society does not consider Gordon Wilkins to be a pillar of his community. I'm sure they don't look at him and say, there goes our modern day Sophocles. Or the Pericles of Florida. It's just, yeah. So, and then it says the co-defendant, Sally Wilkins. Well, who's Sally? Where does she live? How do you know this is still in Ohio? You don't know. Has been aware of and promoted the actions of the defendant. How? Sally Wilkins has been visited by the Akron Police Department several times, in excess of 115, in reference to the threats, abuse, and communication made by Chance Wilkins. Okay, but what's that have to do with your defamation? Is this part of your defamation claim? I mean, yeah, you could say Cyrax is a turd. That's not what you're suing him for. That's not an element of the action. Once again, you're swinging for the fences here, Haas and Pfeffer. The defendant, Chance Wilkins, has made several threats, including death threats of personal harm to the petitioner and co-petitioner via electronic device. Okay, he's made threats. All right, but it's a petition for slander and defamation. I mean, are you asking for a protection order? Are you looking for a restraining order? We call them protection orders in Ohio. Why does this matter? A threat's not defamation. The defendant and co-defendant are in possession of a rifle that is rightfully owned by the petitioner, Gordon Wilkins. The rifle is a Marlan. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. A Marlan. You mean a Marlin. Marlin. 22 caliber. Okay, well, what type of model? There's a lot of Marlins out there. Serial number and model number. Okay. Why does owning a gun make you defamation? Are you arguing conversion? That he stole something from you and has not returned it? I mean, you're now arguing things that are not part of your defamation argument anymore. So you haven't said what is this? What is this? Both defendant and co-defendant are menaces to society and neglectful in personal action. Well, they probably are menaces in society. I don't disagree with you there. Neglectful in their personal actions toward petitioners. Well, once again, is all of these actions up here neglectful? Is it negligence? That's not a standard then to get defamation. If he's negligently defaming you, he can't be. And how did he negligently possess something you own? I mean, yeah. Now, count 2. This is this reads like some mongoloids. Being the petitioners sworn certify the statements are true. This is like a mongoloid affidavit kit bash with what they think a lawsuit should be. This is the problem here. This. Hold on. If you go online, you can Google, what do complaints look like? I'm not saying you should, but anybody in their right mind would go, what do other complaints look like? How do they go? What do they have that I don't? Instead, this is just vomit on a paper. Don't do what this guy does. Get an attorney. Or if you are going to homebrew, do your homework and homebrew the best you can. This isn't the time to wing it. This is... Yeah, Gordon is our Atticus Finch, yeah. This is just mind-boggling to me. This is mind-boggling. So is Jenny Wilkins claiming she's only responsible for count 1? Is count 1 only solely for Gordon? Because you're alleging 2 counts, but they're co-plaintiffs, so is it saying that he only committed 1? It's not. It doesn't make sense the way you did this. You could have done it where they're both included in count 1. That wouldn't have been a problem at all. That would be 100% easier, more succinct, and clear and clean. But it's the Wilkins family, so we're just going to go our way through everything. God, imagine what their family coat of arms would have looked like. A puddle of drool. And each one of the block, puddle of drool, puddle of drool, puddle of drool, puddle of drool. And then at the bottom, in Latin. So she lived in Florida for at least 6 months prior to filing this petition for civil action. Living in a state for 6 months prior to it's like generally an issue when you're trying to file for like divorce. That's typically where you need that. I'm just saying in Ohio that is one of the conditions. There's other states where that's a condition too. So why does anybody get? It doesn't matter where the fuck you live. It matters where the thing happened, Jenny. Jenna Joe. Jenny. Yeah, once again, you're just repeating barfing all this up, barfing all it up, barfing all it up. Okay. I don't disagree that they are, hazards to society. Nobody will disagree with you there. Any other relief the court deems fair and just. That's... Yeah, you need to kind of list out some things there. What type of relief are you looking for? Are you looking for... both petitioners request a jury trial. Why? So the jury, you're gonna force... You're going to force 12 people into a box to have to stare at this collection of, like, carnival freaks who probably aren't going to handle themselves well, are going to start fighting and screaming. You're going to hear Cyrax start screaming nigger boy at people because that's one of Cyrax's, like, big words he likes to use. It's just... At some point, the judge is just going to tell the bailiff just to start killing everyone, and it's not going to end well. Wherefore, Gordon Wilkins and Jenna Joe Wilkins petitioners request that the court enter an order of cease and desist. You mean you're seeking injunctive relief? And is this a permanent injunction or a temporary injunction? It's a temporary restraining order? Because you haven't met the requirements for a TRO. But once again, what do I know? I have some fancy book learning. That's all I know. I'm sure the Wilkins family. I don't need no lawyer and their fancy words. And the court placed monetary value based upon the continued harm, mental distress. placed upon the petitioners in the current medical condition. You have a medical condition? Yeah. Being a mongoloid was not a result of Cyrax. Like, you need to go back a couple of generations when your family members were inbreeding to sort out the medical conditions there. I also request defendants be responsible for all legal fees. Okay, well, that's not actually improper to have that there, but for a defamation suit, this is very, very short. A page complaint. I understand I'm swearing under oath the truthfulness of the claims made in this petition. I understand the punishment for knowingly making a false statement includes fines or imprisonment. Dated 1/13/24. So this hasn't even been filed yet. Here's a big problem, though. And I didn't get this far yet looking at it. There is no phone number to get a hold of these people. So there needs to be a phone number. And their address. Where's their address? Doesn't exist, or unless they blacked it out. I can't imagine they're that smart to have whited it out. So there's no address, like a full address, which a court's going to reject this. More importantly, we got an issue here. State of Florida, County of Polk. Okay, there is a Polk County, Florida. In Florida on 13th day of January 2024. Before me, a notary public in and for the above state and county personally appeared known to me or proved to be the person named in and who executed the foregoing instrument, and being first duly sworn, such person acknowledged that he or she, well, remember, there's two people. So it's saying he or she, well, apparently they both did, or they both will. So this is already an improper notary statement. Well, did she see both of them? Which ones? And how do they prove their identity? By driver's license? Were they known to me? Well, when I put these together, I leave that blank. And, they prove to me being the person named in by method of, and you write down personal knowledge. Because if they're your neighbors, you can say, like, yeah, I've known them for 20 years. You show me their driver's license, U.S. passport. Or when I've notarized things as an attorney, I'd like, show me a driver's license, and I write down the driver's license number on there. Or if they do a passport, I'll write the passport number. Or, if you have like immigration documents, like I got a green card and stuff like that, I'll use the immigration number to show, like, look, this was in a document. It looked legit to me. But he or she executed said instrument for the purposes therein contained, his or her free and voluntary act indeed. Well, this hasn't been signed yet. There's no notary public. There's no seal. So this is all just spurging. I needed to read this tonight because I didn't read it. I saw it on the farms and I glossed over it, but holy God, I'm glad I read that. This is funny. This is damn funny. So. Chaucerian says her writing's fine. If you want Birdie, read some Tolkien. Oh. Alpha Fox says shit smeared on a 2x4. Yeah. These poor jurors, yes, it's going to be awful. I said the thing. Hey, that's what Cyrax says. Yeah. Thanks. Just, that's what he's going to say when he goes into court. He's going to start screaming at everybody. I win! N-word boy. Oh. Chaucerian Fraud says you can improve you live in the area. It doesn't matter that you don't live in an area. If I'm traveling through on vacation and I suffer a tort action against me, I can still sue in that jurisdiction. So where they live isn't relevant. It's where the action occurred and what time did the action occur? Like what date? Because right now we don't even know when it happened. If we don't know when it happened, we've got statute of limitation issues. I mean, there's a million problems. They don't establish jurisdiction in Summit County, Ohio. So there's a million freaking problems. JXC says, imagine this was plagiarized. It probably was, but they plagiarized some other document. I have a feeling they ripped off part of a divorce complaint. But even a divorce complaint's not going to be that short of just like 8 paragraphs on a complaint for each count like that. Porcelain Thunder says retardus. Yes. Yes. Was this submitted to an actual court? Not yet. I can't find it online. Although to be fair, if they really did sign this and send it in on the 13th, it's not going to be there. Also, with original filings like this, you got to do it in the mail or in person. So you can't just fax this in. Not something like this. Not an original action. So there, and I don't think Summit County. Yeah, Summit County doesn't do. Hold on here. Let me see. Hold on here. Let's share this tab. Let's see here. Does Summit County even do e-filing? I don't practice down there really. Oh, they do e-filing. Okay. I wonder if they'll let you do e-filing for this. Civil e-filing rules. Here we go. Okay. Sometime filing complaint, the clerk shall through its electronic system, except for filing all civil cases. Okay. Party cannot file their. Oh, they want you to do e-filing. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Sorry, I was reading this here. There's e-filing requirements. Okay. Learned something new today. Not done any civil stuff down there, but that's good to know for the future. So I guess Chance is going to win this one. He's safe. Chance is safe for tonight. I mean, he's going to win this one because he doesn't even. There's no default. There's nothing here. I mean. Oh. Durden says you don't need a like gobbledy-spurg to make a notary statement. You generally do to show you're doing it the right way. I would always recommend you generally do it the right way. The real Hydro PX says, funny, the other night you almost made Nick's biggest nose guard a mod. Valhalla waits. Coolest of Mandy, so he acts. Well, I'm not. I heard what's funny. Okay, but yeah, okay. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Alpha Fox says state the equivalent of 12B6 and call it a day. Yeah, that's. Yeah, this is very much. This is one of those few times as an attorney you could basically write Lamau and submit that, and that'll win. So that would be an easy one, and I hope Cyrax listening to this, and he, I mean, can really scribble on there. I win, Nibba boy, 12B6, and that's it. Chester and Frozzy, looking at Cyrax makes me feel extreme pity. Then you find about his character and you feel less bad. Yeah. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. That's how I feel about Cyrax. So. Keopathics is right Lamau and submitted. Is that professional legal advice? No, it's not professional legal advice. That advice is worth what you paid. And actually, I shouldn't say that. And actually, I think people on YouTube who say that in their attorneys got to be careful because people super chat. And some people have paid money. So, although to be fair, you could argue it's $5 worth of legal advice and that's not worth much. Oh, wait, what? What? The Real 100 PX. Oh, I thought you said he got banned in this chat. I'm like, no, he's not. I run Somalia rules. There's only a handful of people I think that ever been dealt with. So the first paragraph is close to a piece from 2018 Voices of Youth. Porcelain says, quick search of the attorney says she's retired. What? Hold on, wait. What now? Quick search of the attorney. Who attorney? There's no attorney in Cyrax's motion. Or his parents. Or his uncle, whoever the heck these people are. There's no yeah, I would say, and somebody, yeah, here's the one thing. So you guys were mentioning the email, like actually looking at this email. Um, oh, on Cyrax's case, Jenny Wilkins Law at gmail.com. There's no way that's a real attorney. Unless she had a stroke or something, because there's no way any attorney, I don't care if they just came out of law school, would do this. This is just using the Gmail thing. That's actually not uncommon. A lot of attorneys do that. That's super common. So, Jenny Jo Wilkins, yeah, she's a lawyer in La Floride. She's retired. Okay. She's, yeah, that doesn't really. Yeah, Jenny Wilkins Law, gmail.com. You know, she really is representing as the attorney. She wouldn't have to. Yeah, there's no way this is an actual attorney. No way. No way. Fedorowski says, howdy, Sean. Hi. Ah, CS101 is muted. Nice try, internet. Classman back says my tax guy does Gmail. Yeah, it's not uncommon. Carrie says, but you ignore me. I didn't ignore you. Job well done says $5 is like $1 after the YouTube cut in taxes. Yeah. Very true. Very true. This is Luke is saying this is sanction worthy if she is, I presume. Like I said, there's no way I could see this being an actual attorney. This is so fucking garbage. There's no way. No, absolutely no way. Unless, like I said, she's got like, she's stroked out and, Gordon's sitting there typing this up and knows access to her email account. Like, that's the only way I could see. There's no way a real attorney did this. I just ain't feeling it. Just ain't feeling it. Job well done says I won't use Gmail for business. They deleted client emails. Luckily for me, they weren't client related. Yeah, they could do that. They could do that. There's also, the concern of technically, although really pretty much any email service, really, even the ones that say they don't, can always access and read your things. But yeah, that's, there's other ways to go. Proton Mail, or you can use like Outlook. There's better things out there. David, G&J Legal Solutions LLC is an inactive company incorporated on March 25th. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's look this up. G&J Legal Solutions LLC out of Florida. Well, G&J law firm, what? G&J Law Group, Quantum A. Oh, okay, that's an actual intellectual property firm. I'm not going to bag on them. Yeah. That sounds like a scam and a half. Luke says, "No way both of them are attorneys." There's like I said, there's no way this is written by attorneys. Even somebody in law school, if you because here's the thing, when you're in law school, you have no idea what you're doing. If I sat down a law student and said, "Write out a complaint," I'm thinking they might be able to make if they've been through civil procedure, they would sit there and crack open a civil procedure book and start trying to draft and do a complaint right. I don't think it would be too hard. It would look like garbage, but it would be far more close to what it should be than this is. Yeah. Carrie says maybe ChatGPT actually does it well. It formats properly. If you said, I need a complaint for slander and defamation in the state of Ohio to file, if you gave it all that, it would give you a proper complaint with, like, the paragraphs, getting the parties, the information going. They would do, I mean, generally how you do it, you talk about joining of the parties, you talk about jurisdiction and venue, the factual allegations, the facts that lead up to what happened here. And then you do like count one, count two, count three. If you want to request, you want a jury demand, you want to request for temporary restraining orders and a preliminary injunction. The relief you're requesting specifically, the law and argument for a preliminary injunction. You point out, like, do we need to post a bond or have security here? The prayer for relief ultimately. There's all kinds of crap you can do that these guys haven't done, and ChatGPT would pick it up. ChatGPT is pretty good at scraping. So, Cleopatra says, don't ask ChatGPT to cite case law. Yeah. Carrie says, how do you know ChatGPT does a decent job? Because there's a lot of attorneys that have used it that I know of. A lot of places, they've been using it all over the place. I've seen it demonstrated. It's actually not halfway bad if you know how to run it. Me personally, no. I haven't used ChatGPT, and if you want to use the good stuff, I think you have to pay for it, and I ain't paying for that crap. I've already got a pretty good motion bank, and if I need one, there's a lot of attorneys I could talk to who would send me one if I needed one. Brad says, if it saves time, it's just another tool to use. It can save time, but you have to watch it and you have to know how to operate it. It's just like if you're using AI to draw something. You have to know what you want and have to know how it'll respond. Otherwise, you're going to spend forever working on it. So, yeah, good luck, Cyrax. But I think you're going to be fine on this one. If this is the best your relatives can do, you're going to be all right. And if this goes to trial, I mean, at some point, these relatives are going to have to show up in Ohio. They won't be able to do this all via motion anonymously. They're going to have to show up at some point. So that would actually be hilarious to go down and watch that. And just watch them just sitting in a courtroom screaming at each other. Oh my God, that'd be so funny. Judge is going to be really confused when I file a request to videotape for the media. So, yes, preliminary injunction. What's your function? So, well, guys, that's actually it for me. I think we're kind of done. I thought Cyrax would take a little longer, but holy cow. Alpha Fox's service yet? Doesn't look like anything's happened yet. Does not look like anything's happened in this case at all. Luke says, I should ask Runkle for his firearms law assignment. He's a mock case with indictment and discovery and fed in the chat GPT, huh? It'll all make sense to the judge by the end of the trial. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will, Stabby. I'm sure it will. So, goodness is remember, Jerry Springer's mayor of Cincinnati. Yes, he was. Best mayor Cincinnati ever had. You think Joe is still alive? Can you hear people speaking in Yiddish underneath your basement? Digging the hole deeper. All right, and let's see. So also coming up, guys, the Iowa. Well, if you live in Iowa, the Iowa caucus is tomorrow. I am very sorry. I feel bad for you guys in Iowa. The way you do caucusing is so weird. Like the whole. If you guys ever want to read about it, it's totally something a bunch of farmers would come up with. They sit there, and then after a while, there could be like a coin flip to determine who wins all the votes out of a precinct. It's just, yeah, I just don't understand why we let all these farmers, these farmers dictate this much of the presidential cycle. But yep, everything kicks off tomorrow. We will find out, and it'll be interesting to see who goes. Caucus is a funny word. Yes, it is. Yes, that's the point. Yes, because that's what I want to do is talk to other people. Oh. Brimstone says, "Feel bad for me. The cold and snow I dealt with today at work was bullshit." Hey, I worked outside. I was in law school. I worked outside. I worked at FedEx for like 6.5 years. Worked outside for almost most of it, and it's been through some shitty winters. I can tell you, it sucks working outside. Hate it. But now it's like when it's cold outside, I'm just like, thank God I'm not working tonight. So, yes, Iowa's famous for farmers and socialists. Yes. Carrie, yeah, I'm looking into that one because that one happened about, I don't know how far away is Illyria from here. Hold on, Illyria, Io. It is 45 minutes away, so it's on the other side of Cleveland. I'm going to be looking into that because there's a lot more that's been going on with the local news reporting. So, yeah, if you guys aren't aware, the Illyria Police Department was looking for a bad guy, and after years of being told, "Oh, he doesn't live here, he doesn't live here," the SWAT team shows up with like 30 of them, and it's there's a whole their tactical way they approach this house. I'm like, if there was really a bad guy there, it would have killed a bunch of you. But they show up and just chucked a flashbang through a window and burned and severely injured a baby. And if you guys know how flashbangs are meant to be deployed, you don't just throw them randomly through windows. You throw them on the ground so you don't light people on fire. And so you can see where it lands. You should never throw it if you don't know where it's going to land. And they lied about it. And it's turning into a big, big problem. Walter Malone says, "Isn't Chili's trial coming up on the 23rd?" God, you know what? I forgot. Hold on here. We'll check this out. Clark County Clerk of Courts. No, not Clark County, Ohio. I don't want that. Clark County, Nevada. Nevada. Here we go. Oh, it won't show up. Yeah, Clark County Court Records. Here we go. I don't want Clark County, Ohio. Jeez. 8th Judicial District. Record search. Here we go. I forgot when that was coming up, but that's neat. Let's see here. Record search. Hold on. Case and calendar inquiry. Here we go. Calendar search. Case information. Criminal family. All right. Here we go. Here, we'll let you guys follow along with me here while we look. Here we go. The Castro. Submit. Something Chili can't do. Submit. Oh, first enter record number, last name and last. Okay, hold on. Makes I need to do that. The Castro. Jose and Hoseby. Okay, calendar search. I mean, it's literally the same thing again. Maybe it's, yeah. I don't know, guys. But apparently, yeah, I need to check into Chili, see what he's up to, because that would be important to know. Julia says they threw it from the outside to inside. From what? Yeah. They threw there's video of the one officer standing there. Tink. Flashbang right through the window. Robert's saying they threw the flashbang outside, and yeah, that's something the police claim they do a lot. They'll take a flashbang and set it off outside, which kind of defeats the purpose of using a flashbang, but you know, cops lie, so that's what they do. Porcelain Thunder says I've been to Illyria once. Well, you don't need to go back a second time, I can tell you that much. Luke Pearson said there's a Nevada trial. It's funny. Luke, send me the information on that. That sounds funny. A sovereign citizen kidnapped his mom from a retirement home and got a cop to help with the fake court order. Cops also charged with kidnapping. Interesting. And Chaucerian frauds, they threw it in a window right into a crib with a sleeping infant. Yeah, and that's very much like what happened in, what's her name? I think it's Ayanna Presley up in Detroit. The Detroit SWAT team threw a flashbang through a window without knowing what was going on, and it landed on top of a 4-year-old and killed her. Lit her on fire. So. Oh, Robert, the courts are going to claim qualified immunity. They claim qualified immunity when they kill people. So, yes, they're definitely going to do it here. That's how they operate. So, all right, guys, that is it for tonight. I think we're all wrapped up. We'll, I want to look into that Illyria one a lot more because there's a lot of information that's still being figured out there. But in the meantime, thank you to everybody here that's been watching. Philip saying, just heard the story on Steve Lato's thing. How can they claim it was the right location when they were informed 5 times he wasn't there? Because they're going to say people lie all the time. People lie all the time. Although, I'm just thinking here, if I was running a SWAT team and I was going to send my guys out on a raid, I would want intelligence on what they're going to hit. So I'd want reconnaissance. Like, who are we going after? Where does he live? Have we seen him going in or out? Does he have guns? Who's in the house? Do they have guns? Are there pit bulls there? Are there little, like, Pomeranians we can kick out of the way? You know, everything I'd want to know about that house. Is it a duplex and are doors nailed shut? What do we know about what we're going into? Not just who we're going to slap on to body armor and go play Ready or Not. So it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how they have that arrest warrant set up, because you need a warrant to go after people and you need a warrant to enter the house and arrest that guy. So I'm assuming there's going to be some lies. Yes, Porcelain Thunder's right. Is there lemon cake? Is there a lemon pound cake? No, there was a little girl named Ayana something. I thought it was Presley too. That's what I'm trying to remember there. Walter is saying, if the babysitter opened up on the SWAT team, would it have been justified? Not going to answer that question. The only thing that would have happened is that would have turned into a bullet festival. So. So that is it, guys. But yeah, I'm waiting. There are some news outlets trying to get a hold of the affidavits and things like that. And when those come out, I want to take a look at them, and we're going to go through that. But yeah, I have a feeling those Ayanna Jones. There we go. Yes, that Ayanna Jones. That was her name. Oh, it was even worse than getting shot by the police. She got lit on fire with a flashbang, and then the first guy through the door was carrying a shield. One of those big, bulky riot shields, ballistic shields that are like 50 pounds. And when you use them, you normally can only carry a pistol. What did he do instead? He was holding a shield and one-handing an MP5 submachine gun. And when he ran into the grandma, who literally got flashbanged out of her sleep, in the whole struggle of that, things got caught up, and he discharged an MP5, a full-size submachine gun, right into a little girl's skull and killed her. So, as she's on fire and screaming. Stabby's like, it was a firefight! Yes, my friend request. Friend request where? So. Oh, Excellent was saying there's a Killdozer Jr. Hold on here. What? Check your Discord. Oh. Uh-oh. Is there? Oh, we're gonna check this out quick. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Marvin Heemeyer Jr. Marvin Heemeyer Jr. looks like. All right, let's go. I'm gonna listen to this. Sounds like a disgruntled Vivek staffer. Let's see what's happening here. Somewhere out in, where's this at again? Dude in Lincoln, Nebraska. All right. Ooh, and Ralph's doing a. Oh, Ralph's doing a kill stream. We're gonna have to watch that. That sounds like that'd be hilarious. But here we go. Dude's gonna take on the car. Go get him, little Marv. Go get him. Okay, to be fair, at that point, the cop could start shooting. 100% he could start shooting. Anybody in that situation could start shooting, really. Oh, this guy's fucking out of here. Gunshots. Back up. Yeah, I love everybody's like, oh, wait, we're in the backdrop. We better get out of the way. Dude's gonna take on the car. Let's see if there's any updates to this. So, there looks like there's no more. Hold on, it looks like there might be some more accounts here. Yeah, here we go. Oh, wow.
Some guy in a Bobcat just came through and absolutely destroyed the car. For why, I have no idea. He looked in and just laughed at us. I have no idea what the hell just happened.
Wow. That sucks.
Guy's going crazy with the skid loader.
Oh, this is the other angle from where we saw.
Holy shit.
Oh, he's got the cute little, like, he's got the cute Fargo hat on. That's so cute. Oh, don't you know? He's got a new Shanka. There we go. I'm surprised he didn't shoot at that point. Although skid steers and Bobcats have like pretty thick plexiglass on the front. I wonder if those would be good enough to stop a bullet.
Guy's going crazy with the skid loader.
So, funny stuff. Godspeed, Uncle Marv. David said that's a fun call to insurance, yeah. Oh, they arrested the guy. Scare Fox is a mild inconvenience dozer. Yes. Oh. It's a hurt dozer, yes. Oh, well. He tried, guys. You know, he worked what he had. Stabby says, they told me to clear the slot, and I intend to clear it. As God is my witness. So. Oh. Well, so apparently the guy's not dead. I'm sure that'd be a fun one to talk to him about once he sobers up or gets medicated. So, guys, that is it for tonight. That was a fun way to end. And maybe there'll be more to talk about with this guy on Thursday because maybe he's been arraigned or talks or there's more information. So, everybody, we will be on Locals tomorrow night at 8:30, hanging out, talking. And yeah, starting Tuesday, we are going to get going on, as I started, the Michelle Troconis trial, not Troconis, Troconis trial. And we'll see you guys around. So have a good night, everybody, and take care. Want to thank everybody on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the super chats and the memberships, guys. And I'll see you guys around. Have a nice night. Happy Martin Luther King Day if you don't have to work tomorrow.